Everyone, I want to show you what I believe is now, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, the most powerful software when it comes to lead generation. I know that is a bold claim. And before I recorded this video, I was actually going to preface it by saying the strongest, the most powerful WordPress software. But I decided to remove WordPress, although it is in a WordPress ecosystem. So you will have to have a WordPress website in order to leverage this. But the power, I'm just going to touch on three things, just three today. But I'm confident that you will feel as convicted as me about the software. The name of the software is WS Pro, WS Form. I say Pro because I've purchased the Pro version, but WS Form, I did not know of its existence until I was following some web developers on YouTube. Actually, one in particular, and he mentioned it, and I liked how he used it. He was pre-filling and going from one form to the next. I said, "Hey, wait a minute, that's what I do." Especially in the area of RevOps and marketing, sales, and service automation. So I looked at it, and the first time I saw the interface, I was absolutely put off. I mean, it looked like, oh, I'll show you. I'll show you. You be the judge. Looks like old Microsoft publisher and Office way back in the day with the bland gray and blue. It's not using the latest UI and clean interface that we're used to. But because it was so functional, I who cares? Who cares how it looks? This thing just functions great. And this is coming from a legacy Gravity Forms person. For any form on WordPress that needed to do something more dynamic and more custom, it was always Gravity Forms. But I got tired of Gravity Forms not adding features that people were requesting and should have been native and just putting it on other developers to create it. So now you're paying for your license for Gravity Forms, but you're also paying Gravity Wiz and all of Jet Sloth and all of these other add-ons, which they make amazing add-ons, but the cost just keeps going up. And before you know it, you're paying anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a year. Still isn't bad for form software, but it's the principle because other platforms are now adding that functionality in it natively. So if I can get all that functionality and more natively, it really goes against the case to keep doing what I've been doing. So anyways, let's jump into it, everyone. I want to show you the platform, and we'll start off by just looking at one of my web forms. So this is actually a pop-up, and what you're seeing is just the demo version, the preview version of it. So yes, this is a WS form on here. In fact, this is what it looks like. It's just a Elementor. I'm using Elementor for the theme. It's an Elementor pop-up text, and then I just I added, I was gonna say drag, I drug, but I added the WS form element, right? Nothing special, everyone. Nothing special. Just typed in WS form, drag it over, dragged it over, and there it is. So it looks ugly. Elementor does a terrible job rendering it. This is not how it will look on the front end. This is how it looks on the front end, right? So what makes this so powerful? I told you I want to talk about three things, and I may talk about more. I may talk about more. There's so much. And in fact, a full video review from me and why I believe it is the most powerful form software for lead generation. Let me not even say lead generation, the most powerful form software. I'll just leave it at that. I really will. And the only thing that I would say is again the fact that you need WordPress. But I'm so sold on it. If you were a Wix, Weebly, what's the other one? Webflow user, just do a subdomain. Form dot whatever your domain is .com. Put WordPress on it. Just put this plugin on it and make all your forms. All right. So get stay focused, Chris. All right. So what you're looking at here is the form. And what I want to show you is I'm going to put my caps lock on. So you all see that arrow. That blue arrow means my caps lock is on. And I'm going to type in my name. What did you just realize? You just witnessed the automatic instant transformation of my data. So even though I have my caps lock on, it did not allow me to type in all uppercase. This, everyone, is the next level. I do not see any form software doing this for you. If you know of some form software that does this, let me know. Any other form software I know of, you got to add a custom snippet or you got to run some scripts or it's not native. This is native what I'm showing you. And it doesn't stop there. I'm going to keep my caps lock on and type in my email. Did you see that? It not only is it not honoring my caps lock for me, but it's transforming it to all lowercase. And here's where we have to start to understand that the form software that we use is is the most important software in our business because it's the way that you capture data. And your data needs to be captured in a way that's consistent so that when you use it, it can be effective, right? Give you a couple use cases. If I were to allow myself, if I were using regular form software that allowed you to do all caps, and I typed in my name, Chris, in all caps, and in fact, let's just go over to, where is it? Hold on, I'm sorry. I gotta grab it. I've gotta grab it. There we go. Let's just go over to my Elementor form. There you go. There you go. This is what most form software allows you to do. Just put in whatever you want. Come into my house, put your stuff wherever you want to put it, right? Who, why? And then on the back end, you got to worry about trying to transform it and get it into the right format. And that's even if you do it. So just so you know, all emails are not case sensitive, but some platforms do treat case sensitive emails as a separate email address, which is crazy to me. But you want to ensure that all of the emails in every system that you capture emails in, it's all lowercase. That's the safest way. That's the protocol that it was originated for. I know some of you like to uppercase your letters and all of that. It means nothing to computers. Humans see it, but computers do not. So since computers are the one computing on the value, you need to make sure that it's all lowercase for the best experience and the most consistent experience throughout your systems, right? So as we see, any form software would allow this, all caps. But when we're in WS Form, it does this for you, right? So that's just one. Okay. Didn't I say three? So one is the transformation. All right. Next, I'm gonna click this button and it should take me to my thank you page. Now, the thing about this is I also was not sure because I'm using an Elementor pop-up. I didn't know because I usually use Elementor forms on the pop-up, and I'll show you that as well. But I didn't know if it would honor that this form was redirecting to another page or if it was going to be some funky functionality. But as you see, it redirected to the page that I anticipated. Now, next thing is it also directly integrated with Airtable. Now, this is important for me because I use Airtable for everything. I put all, anyway, that's another video for another day. Just know that I need to have my information in Airtable. Gravity Forms does not have a direct integration. In fact, I think it was a year or so ago that a partner created an integration. I will say this. Let me say this. I need to give this company their just due. Fluent Forms. Fluent Forms is another alternative to Gravity Forms that I would have no problem recommending or having somebody sign up for because they have direct integrations with Airtable. A lot of the things that you can't do natively in Gravity Forms, you can do in there. They have lifetime pricing. So you do have some other form options. I'm not against Gravity Forms. It may sound like that, but I'm just kind of frustrated because I was on Team Gravity Forms for years, ever since I've been online in business, and they just did. I felt like they're going away. That is not. It's not for me. And when you see software like this, WS Form, you're like, oh my gosh, I can get all of that inside of one platform without any extra fees. Sign me up, right? So now let's go. Let's go into my Airtable and you'll see, look at that, Chris at AOL.com. However, look at this. It tracked the page as well. Now go back to my form. There's no hidden field because in Elementor, which I'm going to show you in a minute, I have to have hidden fields and all of that. Matter of fact, let's go right into Elementor now. So here's my Elementor form, and you'll see I've got name, email, URL, and UTM source that you can't see because why? They're hidden. Okay. Most people building forms don't even know how to use hidden fields correctly, right? Because some platforms like this, you have to have a hidden field. Other platforms allow you to have any field and then you can select hidden. Those are the platforms I prefer. I prefer to be able to select any field and then turn it hidden, right? That's what WS Forms allows you to do. That is not what what Elementor Forms allows you to do. However, listen, Elementor Forms have been working well for me. It allows me to get my data to where it needs to get to, and it's fine. I haven't had any issues after the steep learning curve. How about that? Which is why many of you probably are not using it effectively. So when it comes to the hidden URL, I had to figure out the short code. I didn't figure this short code out. I created a snippet actually. So this is a snippet I had to copy and paste into my website. Many average users, average business owners don't even know what a snippet is, don't even know what to do with it. So there's a high level of complexity just to get this short code there to grab the URL. Also understanding that I could use a short code in a pre-filled field on Elementor forms. You get the layers of complexity here, right? So that's URLs, and then the UTM source is similar, where I use a request parameter. Many people don't even know what a request parameter is. Don't know that Elementor can do it, and how Elementor does it is like terrible. So, anyways, you got to click the gear first. You got to go select request parameter. Let me show you. Let me show you. This is ridiculous to me. First off, it's just let me take caps lock off. It's just this space. And then you got to know what a dynamic tag is. All right. So you click that, and you got to sort through all of these things. There's nothing clear like pre-fill field or pre-populate or anything like that. You just have to know its request parameter. Now you've watched this video, you do know, right? And then you go here, and now do I use get, post, or query var? Which one do I use? Well, I'm telling you, just use Git for these cases. Those other two, you can make a case for. But here, I'm just going to type in the name, UTM source. So now any URL parameter with the name UTM source is going to be added to this field as its value. All right. So again, complex, not straightforward, not easy to do, but it works. And once you know how to do it, you just kind of duplicate your forms and things of that nature. All right. So we have that. But remember, I just showed you a direct integration with Airtable. Well, I told you Elementor does not do that. It doesn't have it. So what do you have to do? You're going to you can do the redirect, but you're gonna have to add a webhook. And the webhook is gonna go out to a service like Zapier, Pabbly, Make.com, N8N, whichever one you're familiar with and you like to use. It'll go out there and it'll capture the information. Now, I do recommend webhooks, even over direct integrations at times, if you need to get that information to multiple platforms. Because once it's captured in your software of choice, then you can send that information. You have multiple modules following it to send it out any and everywhere, right? So in this case, though, there are times where you just need to integrate it with one destination, and that's fine. Now, could I add multiple actions? I could add active campaign here, and I could add multiple in here. What I'm saying is we then go back to the same issue that we had, which was what? If I do that at this point, and this is my input, that means all of the systems now will have that value as the value for that contact. Many people don't even think that deep. That's not even deep. Many people aren't even that aware that that's happening. Now, you do not want uppercase in everything. I was quick story. I was working with a client that did a lot of SMS marketing, and this is exactly what was happening. And they were using Zapier to send data all over the place, but because the initial point of capture was not properly formatted, every platform had all uppercase. So guess what happened when they went to send a text? They thought they were going to personalize the journey. Well, their personalization turned into punishment, right? Because people are like, "Why are you yelling at me?" They're getting all caps for their name, everybody. And I said, you know what? They won't know this, but because I'm in the back end looking at the performance of the text was just terrible. All kind of responses, support teams out of control. So I just ran a transformation within within Zapier, and you would be shocked at the difference. People went from being angry and like, "What is this? Take me off this list," to, "Oh, yes, I'll be there. I'll show up." That's the importance of this, everybody. So this is why it is critical to be able to transform at the point of capture instead of passing it down the system and letting that mistake or letting that format propagate throughout the system. All right. I don't know if you guys can. These dogs are going crazy in my backyard. They're not even my dogs. So now I can send a webhook out, and I can use WP Fusion to send them to my CRM. Of course, it will still be that data that is not formatted correctly. All right. So that's how it looks in Elementor. Now, as I showed you here, if we go back, one thing I didn't show you is look, if I add a value into this UTM source and just say YouTube test, all right, I'm going to add this UTM source equals YouTube test, hit enter. So the page refreshes. Remember, I'm back in WS Form right now. In Elementor, I had to go here in the form fields and add this UTM source and this URL to grab it. We already saw WS Form grab this tracking page by just some checkboxes. I'll show you that in a minute. And now I need to know if I can populate the source, right? So when I'm in here, we see the source as YouTube dash test, and we see in here all I did was drop the form on there. So nothing special yet. I'm going to put in Greg AOL. Okay. Sorry, Greg at AOL, if that is a real email. All right, so it's there. Now let's go into our Airtable and look at that. It grabs the UTM parameters, right? Do you see why I'm telling you it's the most powerful lead gen software that you can use? It's transforming the data. It's grabbing the tracking data from the URLs, and its direct integrations. Those are the 3 reasons, and I could go on, right? But if my case isn't made, let me just help you see how it's done. Now, before we go into the back end, let me just tell you to brace yourself, all right? Because it is ugly. Okay. And I say that respectfully. I say ugly because that's what most people are going to say when they see it, right? When you look at this, there is nothing nice, appealing, pretty. It's just this. Let me go here. So this is what it looks like initially. And again, it looks like old school Microsoft software. It's just very not really pleasing to the eye. But we don't care about that. What we care about is functionality. And by the way, the backend may look like this, but it was very easy to achieve that. That doesn't look ugly. That's not ugly. So it's not ugly and it's not ugly and it's more functional on the front end. That matters, right? So yes, I got past this so easily. This is nothing that I was like, "Oh, but it looks so ugly, so I don't want to spend any money on it." No, I had no reservation at all once I found the functionality that I'm showing you all, right? So how did I do what I did? They have a tracking capability, and you just come in here and say, "I want to track the URL and I want to track the UTM source." That's it. No hidden fields. I was ready to put hidden fields because I put hidden fields on every form that I've ever used, whether it be JotForm, heavy JotForm used over here. As you see, I use a lot of form software. Fill out forms, hidden fields there, right? That's my standard practice. And then along comes WS Form says, hey, you could do tracking and we won't require you to do it. Now, there is an extra step that is not very clear, but I figured it out and I'll tell you all. So if you go to your actions and you see that you can have multiple actions, I've got Airtable. And what I like about this too is I can disable them. You can do that in all the other platforms too. But if I go add to Airtable, it's adding it to this specific test database. But this is it. You're not going to be able to use tracking fields like regular fields. I had to figure this out. All right. You got to go under custom mapping and add the form fields here. And you just have to put hashtag tracking in the front of your UTM. So if you want to do UTM medium, it's hashtag tracking underscore UTM medium, right? So you can do all of that with any of their native tracking features. They have a whole website that goes through it, but that's very technical, everyone. Unfortunately, I will take some points away from that. It'd be nice to be able to like pre-populate or click the button because watch this. If I go to a field and I want to use a variable, they have this hashtag. Well, they don't have that hashtag here when I'm doing it. I have to copy and paste from the website or just remember how to do it. So no form software is perfect. Yes, am I docking them a point? Yes, I'll dock a point for it. But look, they're still at 99. How about that? Okay, so that's how I did not need a field on the form to grab the UTM source or the tracking or the URL of the page that the opt-in took place on. You can do other things like refer, you can do device, you can do all types of things. And since it's capturing here, guess what? You can also put it into your software, your CRM software, or your database. Okay. Now, many of you may have seen that I had this query bar. Let me delete that. Essentially, what that is saying is if there's a URL parameter that has first as the name of it, whatever that value is, add it to my form. Now, I've done this in Elementor. So if you go to name, again, people probably don't know you can do this, but you see, I've got a request parameter, and I said first. So if I go to the website that it's on, you'll see I have first up here, Chris. Let me load it. And when I click this button, you'll see that Chris is there. And just so you know, this is not trickery. I can do this, Kelvin. All right. And click here and look at that, Kelvin. Now, again, I did this intentional. I did an uppercase N intentional because people will put their name in like this. And again, this platform will allow you to do it, but that's not the point. I've already made that point. So what we're seeing is I can pre-populate the name field by putting it in the URL. Well, how do you do that in WS Forms? So I go here and I type in query and this one. All right. Now, I'm going to knock another point because this stuff just is, if you're not technically inclined, a lot of this is going to be confusing and you're going to need some hand holding. But once you got it, right? So I will say that it's not the most user friendly or non technical. Other platforms do this a lot easier and a lot more powerful, like Jotform and Fillout. You can achieve this quicker by not have as much technical acumen. But again, this is the most powerful that I've seen. So if I do this and just say first, and then the default value, this is where that extra goes a long way. I'll just say friend. If there's no value in the URL, put friend. If there is a value, grab that value that's under first. And actually, I don't want to do this because this is a default value. So I want it to be blank, right? If I hit save and publish, let's go back. Let's go back to my form here. So let me come up here and then add first equals Bobby. And let's do a capital Y at the end of Bobby. And let's just see what happens. There you go. You see in the URL, I typed a capital Y at the end, Bobby, and look at what it put in here, Bobby. So again, super duper functional. And I haven't even shown you the best part. How am I doing that? How am I making sure that if caps lock is on, I'm lowercasing all the values and uppercasing the first? How am I doing that with the email? So easy. Look at this. You highlight the field, go to advanced. Here we go. Transformation sentence. Transformation sentence means the first word is going to be capitalized. I mean, the first letter in the word is going to be capitalized. That's straightforward. Now, if I go to email, I'll go to advanced and go to transformation and it's lowercase. That's it. No, nothing else to it. Right. So on one hand, it gets complex. So you got to copy and paste these hashtag variables. But then on the other hand, it's like click and it does powerful transformation. Again, no form software that I know of in the market right now transforms your data at the point of collection, which is the most important point. Okay. And in fact, I'll end it there and say this: do not forget that the initial point of capture is the most important point of capture. Whatever you don't get right initially when you're with your data that's coming through that form, it propagates throughout the system. So if it's okay, it gets worse. If it's great, it gets greater, right? So it's either going to propagate up or down. Many of you have no practices around data collection. You have no strategy. Your strategy is create a form, think of the questions, put it up. You don't know if they're the right questions. You're definitely not thinking about transformation. You don't know how to integrate it correctly, right? And this is the state that we're in. So that's a topic for another day. But I just wanted to share with you all WS Form. It is software. Let me pull it, show you all the website. It's software that has really changed the way that I do forms, not just for myself, but for my clients as well. It is running at the time of recording, it's running a 20% off coupon. I may or may not have an affiliate link under it because I just signed up this week and have been using it and getting the best results out of it. So if I don't have a affiliate link under this, just go to wsform.com and try out the demo. Try it for yourself. They'll give you a 14-day free trial, full WordPress installation that you can go in and try all of this stuff out. One thing that I will recommend though, I made this mistake. When you're doing the demo, under here, click this lightning bolt actions. By default, it's going to have send email. You need to delete that in the demo, delete that send email, or the form will not submit. I thought for a long time the software was broken, but it was just that option needed to be disabled by default. I wish they would do it for every demo just so you don't have to go through what I went through. But if you delete that, you'll have full access to try out this platform for and see for yourself. If there's something you want to know how to do, there's a Facebook group. They're very responsive via email. You can ask the question below this video, but I hope you all see and value the power of this platform. I plan on making more videos to explain more of the power and show you forms that I built in one platform and what they look like in this platform and what I was able to do differently. I do a lot of in fact, the core of what I've been doing lately for companies is streamlining their data, and since that always starts with a form, the form software is extremely critical. If you get it right in the beginning, it will pay you back handsomely ongoing. But if you get it wrong, you're going to find yourself in a mess, not knowing where data in all types of platforms and all types of formats. So you want to prevent that. There's a way to do it. It's anyway. So hopefully this was helpful for you all. Um, like and subscribe. Let me know if there's any area of this video you'd like me to expound on or any other topics, and I'll get that taken care of for you. So appreciate you watching, and hopefully this was helpful for you.